Right. I know some of you are already starting to hop on. Give me a few minutes as I wait for Facebook to alert people that we are live and before I fully kick this off for everyone. So all right, and as you guys are starting to hop on, do me a huge favor, give me a nice reaction to this video. You can also start commenting on here so I can see who is tuned in, and I can give you some shout outs. I will be getting started here momentarily, and I'm keeping in our timeline of an 11 to 11:30 a.m. broadcast. So thank you to those of you that are already on here. Just going to give it a couple more minutes before I officially get us started. All right, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for already hopping on with us for our Monday broadcast. I am Juliette Abdel, your Chamber President and CEO, and I thank you so much for tuning in to all of our broadcasts. We've been having these for over a year now, since COVID first unfolded. So if it is your first time on our page, do not let it be last. Make sure that you hit the like button on our page, that you also check the notification settings so that you are following the page and get alerted when we go live. It'll save me from having to wait that awkward pause for Facebook to alert you that we're live. Now, of course, if you're returning back to us, I thank you so much for being engaged, being on board with us throughout this time, and of course, for asking questions and information, sharing this out to the public. So please continue to do so. You know that there is a share function at the bottom of this video, and we just ask that you do share this out to your network so that they are aware of any updates that we're sharing in a timely manner, and can also ask questions along the way. Of course, if you are watching this on our Facebook page, then you are great to go. There is a video section on this page for you to recap any of our previous videos, and when you do, give us the hashtag replay so we know which ones you tuned into and found to be most beneficial. Now, if you know of people that are not Facebook savvy, they're in Facebook prison or jail, or maybe have posted too much content that they're no longer able to access their Facebook page, let them know that we are also streaming this at the very same time on our YouTube channel, Westminster Chamber of Commerce, which leads me to my final housekeeping rule. And that is, if you are interested in engaging with us on all things social, we are on Facebook, of course, on YouTube. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Westy Chamber, and of course, on LinkedIn, Westminster Chamber of Commerce. Numerous different platforms allow us to share different messaging at different time periods to adapt to the people and the audiences that we have. So if you're on any of those social media pages, please be sure you connect with us so that we can do our part and engage with you on there and information share. Now, I know several of you are already starting to hop on with me. I see Amelia. I also see past board chairman Brian Head. Parker, good morning. Hello to you all. And I'm going to quickly pull up some of these comments. Now, along the way, I would ask that you start sharing any comments that you might have, whether they're good morning pleasantries, any questions along the way. I will be providing some updates on kind of transitions in city. I'll also be updating you on within the chamber some updates that we have, some programs going on that I really just want to draw your attention to. And then, of course, if there are any questions, please feel free to ask me on here. If it is something that I do not have an answer for, I'm not one that is shy. I will tell you, I'll find an answer for you, and I'll come right back. So our first question or comment comes to us from Dave Carpenter. Good morning to you, Dave. Thank you for hopping on here. Of course, Parker Brown, good morning to you. Such a perfect weather for somebody to drop in and try some of your soup and amazing foods that you have. And of course, Brian Head, good morning to you. I also see our current board chairman, Peter Brissett. Good morning, Peter. Thank you for hopping onto the broadcast. So first off, I want to go ahead and share. You guys are used to seeing me every Monday, and I have a second person with me, a second counterpart. We give a mayoral update, a nice update on COVID, and of course, what's going on in our city and our state. There has been transition since the last broadcast, and I know several of you have kind of been informed on what's going on. Maybe you've tuned into city council meeting, maybe you've seen it on someone's feed. But what I did want to share is, one, this quick link that I have actually included as a link you can click on in the comment section. Now, this link does talk to you a little bit about this transition of leadership on our city council, specifically with Mr. Herb Atchison and his role, leaving after over 42 years in public office. So I just wanted to share that link because it does have information on how that transpired and kind of him moving forward. And I just wanted to also take a quick second and share, a few of his words. Mr. Atchison did express his appreciation to the community for his opportunity to serve in a variety of capacities over the last 4 decades. He served on numerous boards and commissions, and of course was first elected to city council in 1997. And before anyone quips, I was born by 1997. I was even walking and in elementary and even past that. So he goes on to share he's especially grateful to the employees at the city of Westminster, and that he has enjoyed serving alongside them, that he is dedicated to, and everyone is dedicated to the community and to continue to provide excellent service. So I just wanted to read those 2 quotes that he had shared inside of that press release. For anyone that has not already done so, I would encourage you to follow through on this link that I've included in the comment section. It does go in detail on kind of what transpired and where things landed. Now, this leads me to the secondary comment that I also already see from Dave Carpenter. Dave hopped in and said, no acting mayor to interview this morning. So Dave, just so you know, we have extended and are moving forward to try and continue as much with continuity as possible. Our purpose in holding these broadcasts is to educate our entire community, both businesses and residents, on all things going on during the interesting time that we all find ourselves in, things that we should be aware of, things that we can utilize to the fullest. That being said, today is focused on giving you this update of this transition, of course, updating you on some chamber things, and then we'll come back to you on Monday where I actually will be interviewing our outgoing Parks and Rec director before he goes. Most of you have seen Jason Gink on here with us, and I just want to be able to give him a platform to hop on here and share some of the things that he is leaving behind and where he's going to next. So that will be kind of the next broadcast that we'll have, and then we'll resume our typical broadcast, hopefully moving forward with our mayoral updates. Now, the question that Dave Carpenter has provided me, which was, no interview with our acting mayor, there have been a lot more questions that, of course, have rose up after last week's transition. With those questions, there's been some inquiries on city charter. There's been some, discussion on who takes over, what does this look like, and what does this mean for our city council, for the people that they are representing, and of course our community. So what I wanted to do was also share with you another link. I'm very full of links today, and I made it a point to pull all of them so I can give you as much resources as possible. I started out this broadcast by sharing with you. This is strictly focused on information sharing, giving you the knowledge and the tools at your disposal so you can read, stay informed, and of course, come back to me with any feedback, come back to me with questions. If I don't have them for you, I'll find them out for you. But this link right here has actually been shared. It's a link to the City of Westminster's page. It actually talks about the transition of power. So the transition of power in City Council, what does that mean in terms of special election? What does it mean in terms of the next steps moving forward? So for those of you that might be interested in understanding, how does this come to fruition? Who decides what? Who is taking over? All those types of questions. And of course, the discussion around, what do you follow, and what is the guiding principle behind that? This is what this link is designed to hopefully help you answer. If you read this link and it doesn't answer your questions, or you read it and it raises more questions for you, let me know what they are, so that way we can make sure that we're giving you the information that you're seeking, and that you're getting the answers that you're wanting. I do see our Counselor Seymour. Thank you so much. Good morning to you. Thanks for hopping on to the broadcast with us. I look forward to connecting with you soon. So with that, I did go over the transition, of course, with our mayor that was in office. We shared a couple of quotes, the link to the direct press release on that. I also subsequently followed it up with another link about the city charter, about the discussion on the transition of powers, how that actually goes into place, and who's involved in the mix. And of course, as residents, as business owners and the likes, that link will probably be something that you will want to know about. That being said, today is a city council meeting. City Council will be meeting, and the link I have also included for you. I told you I was not kidding around when I said I've like loaded up on the links on this broadcast. But the information about the City Council meetings actually already online. It's at cityofwestminster.us. The agenda page section is where you can find the agenda. And if you download it, as I have done, moments ago, you'll find that it's a fairly substantial agenda. The first couple of pages actually talk to you about the overview of what they'll be discussing, from your basic, housekeeping to, of course, the discussion on moving forward with the swearing in ceremony for our upcoming mayor sites. Of course, the selection of a new mayor pro tem at the swearing-in ceremony as well. And so because our existing mayor pro tem is transitioning into the mayoral role, that will leave that vacancy for the mayor pro tem. And so the next step would be that selection for that new mayor pro tem. Of course, there are other items that are being discussed on the agenda, so I don't want you all to think that those are the only two elements. A few different proclamations, of course, several that are significant, like Mental Health Month, several around public works. There is some discussions and second readings on projects in the community. So I would encourage you, like I said, there is a link that I've already pulled onto this video. It's also included in the comment section. I would encourage you to click through on this link and read on the agenda and see which items stand out to you. If you are interested in the information, again, on the transition, what that looks like, and maybe even seeing it live, then you should tune into the council meeting that's this evening. Now, all public comments or feedback are always due by noon. We end these broadcasts by 11:30 a.m. So if you have not already done so, and you thought of something, or you had a question for council or thoughts that you wanted to bring out there, you know that you have a small window, to be able to share that input ahead of time before the meeting, and of course tune into the meeting to see as that's discussed. I do see Jude and Christina. Good morning to you all. And I can't, oh my gosh, this other name is just, it's so unique to me, so I cannot pronounce it. I'm not even going to try so I don't butcher it, but thank you so much for tuning into our broadcast this morning. So that leads me to a transition. Now, typically there are some COVID updates, and I don't want to leave you guys without giving some updates. Of course, last week we had discussed that the Coloradans can gather inside in groups of 10 or more, no longer required to wear masks if at least 80% of the group is vaccinated against the COVID-19. That was the discussion that we had about the mayor or the governor indicating that you should show some form of vaccine or proof of your vaccination to be able to have that number of people without the masks. Coronavirus, by the numbers, now these numbers are not as updated as I generally would have them, but they are as of close of Thursday, so that's May the 6th. I'm going to give you a quick overview on the state of Colorado. So in Colorado, we've had over 2,941,000 people tested. Of those that were tested, or in totality, we had 519,000, a little upward of 519,000 positive cases. In total, that was about 28,543 that are hospitalized. And of course, out of those, 6,345 deaths. So about 6,500 deaths due to corona is estimated, and then 5,088 outbreaks at residential and not in hospital healthcare facilities. So 64 of 64 counties, of course, with positive cases. In ADCO, we've had over 57 130 cases, 672 deaths among COVID cases. So I will be including those statistics for you because generally I try and type them out, but since I'm sharing those with you and not the one that's typing, not the scribe, I'll have to do that once the broadcast has closed out. Of course, there are still numbers that are changing in terms of COVID case count. They're still seeing it as a breakdown that's rising among young people in our communities. And of course, vaccines are now available. The sites are no longer requiring as many appointments as they are taking walk-ins as well. There has been a milestone or landmark celebration of 2 million Coloradans fully vaccinated. So as of now, over 2 million have received the Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, over 2,674,623 people have received one dose, and about 2,037,137 Coloradans are actually fully vaccinated. So that means that 15 days after they receive the vaccine, there is another 15 days to receive the secondary one. So there's currently 4.7 million Coloradans. They're 16 and older who are eligible to receive the vaccine. Okay, again, a lot of numbers, but I wanted to try and emphasize them because we get some questions around them, and we want to be sure that I'm including as many of those informations. There are only 5 cases of the COVID variant that was first identified in India that has been found in Mesa County. And yeah, so I think those are the numbers that I will give you all as it relates to COVID. I'm not the expert as it relates to this, but I do share with you in the information that I receive and the discussions that I'm in, any meetings that I have, and of course, recaps that we receive on our end. I'll do my part in sharing that out to you all, so you have that on your end as well, and you can be able to ask those questions later on. I do see Councillor Demott. Thank you, Councillor Demott, for hopping onto this broadcast. And Tara, thank you so much. I wondered, I saw that. I was like, I don't know who this is, but I appreciate that. Yes, 2 million vaccines already. So that was a milestone celebrated as of last week by the governor. And then there's over 4 million that are still eligible to have the vaccine if they so choose. So we talked about City Council transition of powers. I shared with you that quick press release at the very start. I also shared with you another link that discusses with you the city charter, how this transition takes place, what's involved in that. And then we moved into updating you in terms of COVID across the state of Colorado. Of course, I gave you that breakdown by cases. We talked about the number that have been hospitalized, the number of deaths, unfortunately, that many have faced personally if their family has been affected, friends or loved ones. And of course, we also talked about that milestone as it relates to the vaccine. So I will transition now over to just a few different chamber updates for you. One was over the last year, we've heard from a lot of our business community on, is there an opportunity for businesses to connect with other business? What we mean by that is business to business support, especially during situations like we just had that are almost unprecedented, they're unknown, and you guys are all facing it at the same time. So kind of that peer-to-peer network of business development, growth, understanding one another, and moving through your own individual business challenges. Because of that, we went ahead and developed this newer initiative known as our Westy Mastermind group. Now, for anyone that is a business owner or business professional that's in the area that's needing that support, we will be doing things from one-on-one coaching that you'll actually get from a certified coaching specialist, all the way to speakers that we do on a weekly basis, and of course your bond that you would share by looking at what are scenarios that are going on in our businesses and how can we peer support, all the way to flash seats where we interview guys and hear what roadblocks do you have, what goals are you trying to reach, and how can we support you in reaching those goals. Very excited to launch this newer effort, of course, as a mastermind group that we've not had before in our community. So I would ask you, if you are interested in getting involved as it relates invites to connecting to other businesses, growing your own, whether you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, small business that is going through their own transitions. This is the group that is for you within, of course, our own organization. So it is applications only or invitation only. So this is your invite. Consider it your invites to apply, so that way we can turn around and notify you if this is something that makes the most sense for you. And of course, if we can go ahead and accommodate you into the group, we're keeping it to a nice cohesive group that is really focused and dedicated to moving businesses forward. That's not just, putting it on their resume. So these are really passionate people that are looking forward to growing their business and transitioning during this time. The next item I have been getting questions on, of course, as we're seeing some loosening of rules, as we're seeing some of those businesses opening back up, of course, our community is very interested, very eager in getting out there, connecting with one another and meeting people, whether it's other businesses, whether it's community members, or just going out there and having that social component. I think one of the most crucial things that we saw during this time is a severe hit to mental health. We saw this in a variety of different ways. We saw it from people not feeling well, which translated to a decline in their mental health, to being isolated and having this as a result of that, all the way to, of course, the existing conditions that some of us face on a daily basis that are not visibly apparent to others. So I say all that to say that doesn't cover all of mental health. In fact, we did a broadcast last year, about a year ago, celebrating Mental Health Month, raising awareness around it with the Colorado Behavioral Health Alliance and the with COPA as well. And both organizations shared some great stats. You can find that in the video section of our page. But I wanted to share this link with you. And this link is actually to our events calendar, because we're getting those questions of, well, everything is starting to open back up. What does that look like for you all? And what does that look like for Chamber? Are we going back to normalcy? Are we picking back up on our programs and events? And so I'll tell you, it's a yes and no. And here's why it's a yes and no is generally in a calendar year, we are hosting 200 programs and events, which is a crazy amount of things that we do. But these programs and events connect our members, connect our overall community to either other businesses, to the community, or to government. And so that is the primary driver behind why we take on select programs and events that we do in a calendar year. Now, of course, with COVID, we had to scale back on all of those. Almost earlier on, you guys had noted that we moved everything to virtual, and then we postponed all our annual types of events. We essentially only held our Shop Local campaigns 3 times last year. We did a few different workforce development initiatives, which we will be picking back up even significantly and more heavily. So stay tuned for that. If you have interest in growing your workforce, interest in connecting with people that are seeking employment, or if you are looking for work, you'll want to know more about what we're doing as it relates to workforce. And I will have to come back on here and explain to you once that program launches how you can get engaged in that. That being said, I'm sorry, I've got something in my throat. That being said, we are picking back up in terms of our regular, our internal leads groups, for example. They're back to connecting in person. Those are referral-based organizations. All of our committees are board. They are kosher with continuing to meet virtually. In fact, a lot of people are finding that it's fitting their schedule significantly more and are higher engaged in some of those committee type structures. So we're retaining those for the time being. Now, as it relates to our regularly occurring programs like our after hours or luncheons, those we hope to have pick back up starting in the fall, but really full blown into 2022. So you'll see them start peaking back over the next several months, but not fully into our recurring every month, first Tuesday or third Friday until really 2022. And so what we're doing between now and when things turn back into normal is all of our annual programs are scheduled. So our annual programs we are hosting. And if you are hopping on here and you're like, what annual programs are you guys hosting? What does that look like? What does that mean for me? I don't want to go to another, mixer that's out there or do this or that. First off, I want to tell you that there's not one event that we don't do that I don't take into consideration feedback, thoughts, and seek to improve it. So in any time that you come out to something, always give me your feedback, of course, after the event, so that way we can look at ways that we can get you more engaged in something that suits your needs, or look at enhancing our existing efforts. That being said, our first annual that we do have scheduled is actually hosted over at Carol Butts Park. This is hosted with our partners at Highland Hills Parks and Rec District. And so this will be in July the 17th, which is a Saturday, is when we will host our Mutts and Struts event. Now, Mutts and Struts is exactly what it sounds like. You bring your furry friend for a mile or 2 mile run or walk. We do have an opportunity to adopt fur babies. We do have live entertainment that's out there, generally in the form of dancing and music, contests for pets. This is business to community, so all of our community members are invited to this. And this year, we're actually not charging for attendees. So we're not charging for attendees. We are having the option for you to donate if you would like to the Highland Hills District's Foundation for their initiatives and things that they're doing. But otherwise, you will have the opportunity of seeing some of those local small businesses that are out there, providing you with content, providing you information, and of course, sharing some love your way. So tune in to July the 17th for the Mutts and Struts event. Of course, if you are a community member, we'd love to have you come out, bring your family. This is supposed to be family friendly. It's kids, it's husbands and wives, it's significant others, it's fur babies. And here's the thing, it is outdoor. It is designed to be safe and designed to be healthy. We're trying to keep in mind that we're opening back up, but we're not really like, okay, let's go ahead and, get the hundreds of thousands all around the area. So we are keeping that in mind with how we're running the event, but it is outdoor. So know that we are factoring in that component of health, safety, and well-being. We'll continue to monitor all things related to COVID and update everyone should things change, but save the date for that event. The other event that we generally have subsequently is our State of the City, and that will be held in August the 25th, and our host sponsor for the State of the City, of course, is Church Ranch Event Center off of 100th and Old Wadsworth. Now, the State of the City generally gives you an overview on our municipalities, what's going on in terms of city improvements, projects, county updates, and then, of course, we have a special feature to be able to share with you. In the past, this has looked like the state of the schools or economic outlook. We will have a few different ways that we weave in the agenda this year. Actually, we're going to be a little bit more creative on the content that we share with you. So that will be over the lunch hour. Now, the Mutts and Struts is like a half day. It's from 8 a.m. all the way until noon. You can come and go whenever you please. The State of the City is actually over the lunch hour, which means that it is a ticketed event. They would have to purchase a ticket for, and then there's lunch that's provided. You're gaining the resources, content that's there, and you're connecting with some other business professionals that are there as well. It usually will run between the time of like an 11 to 1 o'clock, so an 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The events calendar is where we'll list all the information in the future, but I just want you to save the dates on some of these annual programs that we have. Of course, after the State of the City, we would always in the spring host our awards gala. And last year, we were one of the few, if not the only organization in our industry that held their awards gala in person. We did this over at the Marriott, and we did it in such a way that we hoped that other nonprofits can mimic it. So really the purpose behind why we had done that was to show how we can do this hybrid approach. We had less than the max that we can have in person, socially distanced tables that were there. People had wristbands, hand sanitizers. We had masks that we gave out, and just numerous other things that we kept in mind. So for the health and wellness of everybody. And then of course we had people tune in virtually. Now, because we held it last year in the fall, and it's an annual event, it is coming back to us in the fall this year, which means that it's later than when we generally would do it. Our awards gala this year is on Friday, October the 8th, and it's over at the Denver Marriott. So the Denver Marriott here in Westminster is our host sponsor behind it. This celebrates the spirit of business. You will not want to miss out, because we do want to show appreciation for free enterprise, for businesses that are in our community, for all that they're doing, not only to survive the conditions that regularly occur in being a business, but also during the time that we're in right now. So small businesses, large businesses, individuals, those are who are awarded during this ceremony. And the best part about it is you get to pick that, which basically means that you get to nominate someone or self-nominate yourself, so that way we can know the amazing things that you're doing and we can recognize you. And of course, the Taste of Westminster will be coming back November the 11th is when the taste is. That is a Thursday. We generally do it in the evening. So it does run from like a 5 to 8 p.m. time period. Super exciting thing about that is outside of the amazing food and non-food vendors, there's always a balloon drop prize for hundreds in cash. So you won't want to miss this one out. Opportunities with mascots that are out there. The Ice Center is our host sponsor for it. And of course, this is another one that we encourage you to bring your family to. We try and have our events be dual. We really want you to have the business component side and grow your business, but then we know that you have a personal life and we want you to be able to bring them into the mix. Or if you're not connected to business and you're just a resident in our community and want to support business, which we would love, then you just come out to those events that are business to community, and that's where the taste factors in. So I hope to see you there. The other bit of exciting news that I wanted to share with you, and you guys have known that I have been with the Chamber for about 4.5 years, which seems like to even say that out loud is just so crazy. It just feels like it was yesterday that I was here. So we've been through a lot together, and we have seen this organization continue to grow even during the odd time that everyone was in, even during transitions and other organizations and organizations closing and things of that nature. We have continued to not only stay as we are, but we've continued to grow. We enhanced our offerings. We did fun things, from grants that we were able to distribute to PPE, to these live broadcasts, to the several different shop local initiatives, different programs like we have right now, like the Westy, We Love Westy Small Business Week that's running until the 21st. So we had so many things. And then this is my drum roll. I don't know if you guys can hear it. If you guys can hear it, give me a comment so I'm not just like doing this on my own. But anyways, that was the drum roll. And the exciting news is that Hendrix is now with our team. Kat is our director of First Impressions. So she will be one of those individuals within our organization that is able to handle any questions that you call on us for. She will be working primarily on our business outreach with you guys, checking up on you, and of course with our businesses. I know, I can't believe that either. Christina is sharing like it's been for you. I can't believe that. It's so wild, but so excited to have Kat with us. She comes to us from Colorado Springs, and not only is she a new employee of the Chamber, she is also a new resident. So we have recruited a new hire. We've also recruited someone that is a new resident in our community that saw how incredible it is, how much growth opportunity is here for our organization, how much that they can contribute. And so we're excited to have Kat on board. You will meet Kat at some point in time, whether it's on a broadcast or in a press release or email broadcast that we do, but just wanted to share that your way. And before I let you go, because it's almost a 30-minute mark, but I just got this email update and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's breaking news. Okay, so Treasury has launched the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, which deliver $350 billion set aside from Congress for states and cities in an effort to bolster the budgets of municipal governments across the country. So they just released the announcement about 15 minutes ago, and I just wanted to share that with you guys, that local officials will have considerable leeway in how they spend money that replaces revenues lost that they've experienced during COVID. Additional funds have been directed toward more specific uses, such as public health expenditures, food and housing assistances, and of course, replenishing reserves for unemployment and benefits. So those are cities that have less damage than expected by the pandemic. The White House's point on coordination efforts said a critical component to the president's plan has been to have a strong and equitable recovery. So just wanted to share that with you guys and let you know that as of 15 minutes ago, they just talked about, or they just actually launched that COVID State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, which delivers $350 billion to municipalities nationwide. So that's a pretty big deal. On our next broadcast, I will do my part in bringing to you someone from the federal level to share what that looks like for you. One of our partners to be able to update that, so that way you guys are informed. Of course, we will lean on you so that we can advocate for what are some of the things that we know our community needs in order to move forward. Now, I mentioned to you there is a council meeting at noon, or not at noon. By noon, submit your comments for council meeting. That's this evening. Council agenda is live on the website. I've included that link to you. We've talked about the transition of powers at City Council. We've included the press release along with the city charter as it relates to that. I've also included a variety of links for you for our mastermind groups, for events, our events page that we have, that we've been getting a variety of questions on as well. And I've shared with you some COVID numbers across the state of Colorado, some milestones that the governor's office had celebrated, and some updates as it relates to that. Now, with that, I want to answer one other question, and that was from folks who were asking, you know, we're not seeing this broadcast on a daily basis, and I know a lot of you have gotten used to seeing this at 11 a.m. on a daily basis. As we're coming back to you live with a lot of our programs and events, it is getting to be like we have to let some things go. We're keeping our live broadcasts. We're keeping them at least 3 days a week. So tune in Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We'll do some special edition ones Tuesdays and Thursdays as information necessary comes forward, or things come forward that we really want you to be in tune of. But kind of mark that on your mental radar that they will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday moving forward. We are coming back to you on Wednesday with our Small Business Week resource partners. It will be the Colorado Lending Source and Small Business Development Center to talk about some of the resources that they have, resources that are going unused that you can utilize, and some FAQs that they are receiving. And then, of course, we'll round out the week this Friday by sharing with you another couple of small business features. And these are businesses that are participating in Small Business Week, and most of them are locally owned. Most, if not all, are locally owned, and they'll be sharing a little bit more about themselves. If you didn't know, there is a golden ticket that's hidden at different businesses. Every week, it's a new business that has the golden ticket that you have a chance at finding. If you go to a business that does not have the golden ticket, they generally have some sort of swag. Some of them have discounts or deals for Small Business Week. So please, when you walk into those businesses, ask them if they are if they're the golden ticket holder for Small Business Week. We've included a post into this Facebook page that actually shows you the list of businesses. It's a closed loop. It's designed to be a small group so that you're not driving way across town and just, you know, wasting a lot of time. We want you to drive around town and support local, but we're also mindful that you've got a lot of things that you're doing. So we're starting it out with a small group to see how this works. I hope that you continue to shop local. I hope you continue to tune into this broadcast. Make sure that if you watch this and I'm no longer live, that you give me that hashtag replay so I know you tuned in. Always feel free to be comfortable. Ask me a question. You can type it into the comment. You can DM the page and we'll get back to you. We'll bring to you any answers that we are able to share with you or provide any feedback your way. And of course, if you've not already done so, hit the share button on this video so people in your network can see about all of this information that we were able to share. There's a lot that we talked about: city council transition, all the way to chamber updates, to federal COVID relief dollars, and of course, COVID numbers for state. So a lot that we talked on today. Make sure that you hit that share button so others in your network can see it. And I hope today that you guys are staying dry, warm, and are having the best Monday possible. We'll be back to you guys with more updates in the future. And I so thank you for taking time out of your day to be on here with me and engaging and just being such a great partner in our community, because we move together when we know what the right and left hand are doing. So thank you guys so much.